Hello, my name is Bernard Siegel. I'm the Executive Director of the Regenerative Medicine Foundation and the founder of the annual World Stem Cell Summit. We're going to talk today a little bit about the emerging trends in the field of regenerative medicine and cell-based therapies. I got started in this field close to 20 years ago as a patient advocate. The field of stem cells was controversial at the time. Scientists were being threatened with jail. There were a lot of contentious moral issues, religious issues, and cultural issues. So as a cancer survivor and someone that believed in technology and science, I decided to leave my career as a lawyer and to move forward and create an organization that would try to present the issues fairly to the world and somehow influence and accelerate the field of regenerative medicine to improve health and deliver cures. And we've had a lot of success and interesting projects along the way, including 18 World Stem Cell Summits, a big global event that I've conceptualized, a legacy event that represents cell-based therapies and regenerative medicine. And some of the issues, the emerging issues, of which I'm going to just briefly tell you 8 that I bump into, having presented conferences where I'm inviting close to 200 speakers by email, albeit a lot of them are cut and paste. It has allowed me to have a large Rolodex of stakeholders around the world. Indeed, this field has geopolitical implications. So the first thing we have to think about is the great convergence of technologies that we have today that we didn't have 15 years ago. Genomics, artificial intelligence, microscopy, indeed in the information age, all of these emerging technologies happening at the same time are rapidly accelerating and advancing the field. So a scientific revolution that might have taken centuries or decades is happening right before our eyes. The second thing I want you to think about is the power of patient advocacy. I have had the privilege of serving on the governing board of the California Initiative for Stem Cell Research, Treatments and Cures, which was a ballot initiative in California that passed last November 2020, and funded by state initiative $5.5 billion to continue the funding of the great California Institute for Regenerative Medicine. And the beginning of the 20th century Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis once said that states are the great laboratories of democracy. And in the United States, certainly the California Institute for Regenerative Medicine leads the way. The third thing I want to talk about briefly is that the federal government of the United States and the NIH, which indeed is an engine of scientific research, needs to come in, and the advocacy movement of patient advocates and scientists that propelled Prop 14 in California is now working to get federal funding for clinical trials for cell-based therapies. We have to push this through the finish line, and phase 3 trials are very, very costly, and it's hard for academic institutions to achieve this. And in the age of COVID and pandemic, we can see when we all work together what happens. So that is a part and parcel of what's going on. Also, I want to bring to your attention that diversity is absolutely critical now, and there's a tremendous amount of focus on that. Members of minority groups have been underrepresented in clinical trials, lack of awareness of minority groups and their community-based physicians, limited recruitment, logistical barriers, literacy issues, cultural considerations are now at the forefront, and major institutions around the United States, if not the world, are now focused on this. It's a very important trend. Another field that is really bursting wide open with enthusiasm is longevity, finding cures for the pathologies of aging. And I would predict in 2021, you're going to see major initiatives funding both the research into this field and the application and companies. Regenerative medicine stem cells are a very important component of this. It seems that the people that have a lot of money want to live forever, and you can't blame them maybe, but what are the implications of that? Societal implications and cultural implications. And indeed, for an aging population, and I consider myself in that category, finding a cure for arthritis, it wouldn't be a bad thing. It would be wonderful. Another point that is, on the other hand, is distributive justice. Distributive justice is critically important. How are we going to get these cell therapies into the hands of a clinician in Malawi to treat a farmer? And maybe that is an extreme example. But this has to be not only for the wealthiest and the industrial world, but this is a scientific revolution, a biomedical revolution that has to reach all of those on the planet Earth. Now I'm going to switch gears. We're going to talk about real estate for a second. All right, there's an emerging market for facilities and real estate for regenerative medicine and the life sciences. When the office buildings in Manhattan emptied out, there's a tremendous effort to populate and create new facilities for life sciences and communities that have the educated biomedical and biotechnology educated population. You're seeing a major shift in gigantic brokerage firms such as JLL and CBRE have devoted life science units and specialties around the world to facilitate the growth of facilities. This is a major trend moving forward. Now, moving off the planet Earth onto the space station, the International Space Station, US National Lab, also known as the Center for Advancement in Science of Space, that platform, the robotics, studying cells in microgravity, might find solutions to radiation, not only that are, and other challenges of space travel and new industries in robotics, but it's going to impact life on Earth as well. That is an emerging trend. We can talk about this as the expanse if you watch cable television. I want to also have you think about the era of workforce development. NSF is pouring resources into creating a workforce, a technical workforce that can be utilized for cell and tissue-based products. This is a bottleneck and a potential unmet need moving forward. Almost every community college has a biotechnology unit in it, but they don't necessarily have the curriculum for pipetting and the things that are going to be needed for the field of regenerative medicine. This is a recognized deficit that we are now seeing come to light with tremendous support with the US government now. So those are just a few of the emerging trends that are happening, and we all can roll up our sleeves. We have a lot of work to do.